Mindwings Audio presents The Ditchrider's Daughter, written by Terry Rich Hartley, read by Marguerite Gavin. The taste of fear was like plunging 2 straws into a can of sterno and sucking hard. Blackness imprisoned him, sheer, thick, and miserably confining. Dankness slithered through his nostrils, bubbled up his sinus cavities, and threatened to blow his eyes out. At the end of unstretched arms, his palms begged the cold, grainy concrete to yield. It did not. Max Vosser was afraid, very afraid. And then he thought of cookies. This was Lola's doing, and the fact that she had a beauty shop in her and Max's sprawling farmhouse on the outskirts of Glensford. Without the shop, she wouldn't have met the psychologist, who was visiting this one-stoplight town to set up something called a satellite office, which would be staffed once or even twice a week. Yes, big city mental health counseling was coming to the sticks, and when the city shrink dropped by Lola's for a trim, Lola decided it was time to take advantage of her services. At least that's the way Lola would explain things to her husband, Max. One early spring afternoon, when Max Vosser entered the house after ordering a powerful new John Deere tractor from Pullen Farm and Implement, he discovered Lola had set the stage for a big change in his future. "Max, this is Dr. Conway. She's a psychologist from Boise, and she's gonna help you."
"The hell you say?"
popped from the farmer's mouth. "The hell I say," Lola snorted. Lola always snorted when she giggled. Max pushed back the lower corner of his chamois jacket, as though he were about to draw a 6-shooter, then gently hooked his left thumb into the pocket of Eddie Bauer corduroy slacks. A mop of sandy hair bounced above crystal blue eyes as he politely nodded to the stranger behind his dining room table.
"Nice to meet you, Doctor."
"Conway," she filled in, effortlessly rising with her hand out.
"Lordy,"
was written all over Max's face as he gently clasped her manicured hand in his paw and thought how, even at probably 30-something, about his age, she'd look terrific in a leather sweater doing splits atop a pep squad pyramid. "And," she smiled through perfect teeth, "I know that every real man has to raise a stink over anything resembling therapy. Don't have time, nothing strange about me. Seen Dr. Phil on television. He's okay for depressed middle-aged women, but I'm not one of them." Max performed a theatrical wince, amused at the mirth in her voice, a voice that was mildly hoarse, not cigarette and whiskey hoarse, but cheerleader after the football game hoarse. And yep, he went ahead and tried all those excuses plus some of his own. But in the end, he had to admit, with real manliness, of course, his lifelong discomfort with tight spaces had grown into fear, and maybe even terror, though he didn't use that exact wording.
"It's just what a heart attack must feel like. Tight throat, pounding chest, can't breathe," he said.
"And of course," Lola added quickly, "you're still horny as a 3-peckered billy goat, but we can't share a bed because of those horrible nightmares and thrashing around like a windmill in a thunderstorm. You're downright scary at night."
"Ah, Lola."
"It's okay, she's a shrink. You hear this stuff all the time, don't you, Dr. Conway?" "I prefer Jan, and yes, I hear just about everything. But don't worry, Mr. Vosser."
"Max."
Don't worry, Max. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist. Emphasis on behavioral. Behaviorists aren't much interested in what caused a phobia in the first place. Our job is to end it. Phobias, including your apparent claustrophobia, are conditioned behavior, and anything that can be conditioned can be counter-conditioned. So, she smiled, my interest is to help you here and now, or actually tomorrow, if that works for you.
"Well, running a large farm,
Oh, for goodness sakes," Lola scolded. "If the equipment gets any more tuned, you could run it at NASCAR. And your seasonal help won't be up from Mexico for 3 weeks to start seeding the fields. And you sure don't need to spend any more time away from home at those ag conventions." Dr. Jan Conway gracefully turned toward the door. Tall and slender, with a tight thrusting rump pushing against a tan leather skirt, she had that Sarah Palinish naughty librarian look about her, only younger, short, thick, dark auburn hair, smoky eyes. "Besides," she purred, Lola and I have already conspired. She does my hair whenever I'm in Glensford, and in return, I make her man all better. See you at 9 sharp tomorrow morning?" Max gazed at her rump like a fox at a pheasant until the door closed.
"Very professional looking," he said to Lola.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this recording. Watch for more one-hour audio stories from Mind Wings Audio.